Hi, review of my Lowa Elite Desert boots from the brand Lowa. So Lowa, as many of you will already be aware, is a brand that started out from Germany and is presently owned by Technica Group of Italy. So it is still a European boot. This specific boot is made in Germany. These boots are better than the Lowa Forces boot or the Zephyr boot, which are very famous from the same brand, in the sense that the sole is much more long lasting and the boot per se is also much better built. The boots, I first noticed these boots when the European forces were being deployed in the Middle East and Afghanistan, and that time these boots were created and came into being and were being used by the troops being deployed in that area. And thereafter I have not seen these boots in the market, and I do not think that they are being manufactured anymore. They have been probably improved or other boots have taken their place. So coming on to the boot per se, this is a desert boot and hence the name Elite Desert. It is made of a Vibram sole. Vibram, as many of you would already be aware, is a company that manufactures purely soles and specializes in that business. And so Vibram has created this sole for this particular Lowa boot. The sole pattern, as you can see, is a rubber sole and the lugs are fairly close and dense. These do give good grip, and the density of the lugs is not too far because in the desert you're not going to face slush. Up front it is one big block because this is where most of the wear will happen to the sole, and if it is together it will not chip off very easily, and similarly at the rear also. The midsole is a polyurethane block which is fused to the rubber. Polyurethane, as you should be aware or may be aware, is the new age material which is being used by most of the military boots. The earlier boots used to use mostly EVA for comfort. Polyurethane is slightly heavier, at least in this case, and the bounce or the comfort is slightly less, but it does retain its shape for a longer duration. Only problem is that if you do not use polyurethane boots and let them be for long durations, then they tend to crack. So you win some, you lose some. But otherwise, polyurethane soles retain their shape and comfort for a longer duration as compared to EVA. The insole on the boot is a black insole. It's not a fancy insole with a lot of EVA in it. It's got this dimpled finish on it with small little holes, almost like a polka dot finish, and they have a mesh pattern on top, so that also helps in ventilation because this is a desert boot. Coming on to the upper of the boot, the outsole comes slightly up on the toes, and further behind that is a rubber rand, as can be seen here. The rest of the boot is all leather, and this is good quality suede leather. The thickness can be seen from the corners, and also because of the stiffness of the boot. As to the waterproofing of the boot, I am not very clear because I have not tested this boot in deep water because these are desert boots. But however, for the purpose of conditioning the leather, I do spray these boots off and on, but the spray simply beads and rolls down from the surface, which means that it is already pre-treated and is good quality leather. Further, the stitches on the leather you will find is all double stitch. Nothing coming loose. I have used and owned this boot for maybe more than 5 years now. Nothing is coming loose, so good quality construction there. On the sides there are these panels of synthetic mesh, both on the inside and the outside for breathability, and also in the tongue they have the same mesh to give some breathability. The tongue is sewn till this point to the boot or the upper of the boot. This is an 8-inch boot, so this would be at least 7 inches. And this will also help in keeping out the sand and debris from the boot. The connection between the boot and the tongue is also good quality leather. I'm very happy with the construction of this boot. They have taken good quality inputs and also used good quality materials for constructing this boot. And then finally they have constructed it or put it together well also. Coming on to the eyelets start fairly up front in the boot to give you better tightening when you put your feet inside and tie up the laces. However, because the boot is slightly stiff, they will not be tightening very easily, or initially at least, to your feet. It takes some time to break in the boot. The laces are synthetic laces. I have not faced any problem of them coming undone while wearing, so no problems there. On the upper, you will see these holes again to aid ventilation, and the mesh material here also aids ventilation. Good quality construction. The rear has these flex points for your ankles while walking. So yes, all in all, a very good boot. Unlike the Zephyr, where the outsole has started chipping off with mild mountain usage, I haven't found that problem with this boot. They are very solidly constructed. However, because they use better quality materials and are solid, they are slightly heavier also. But all in all, a very good boot. Lowa Elite Desert boot. This is a size 10.5, which is my ideal size in Lowa. I was lucky that I found a size 10.5, otherwise I would have had to go with 11, which also would have worked, but a 10.5 is much better for me. Thank you.